This is Nightline. Tonight, escaping Pearadise, a community promising body positivity and a safe space for plus-size women.
I like them round, I like them chunky.
But some former visitors say it's anything but.
I didn't expect to leave feeling like I was violated.
Its founder accused of unwanted touching and predatory behavior, according to legal filings. Allegations he denies.
You'll be loved here, worshipped like a goddess, but they don't tell you the price that you pay.
What really happened inside Pearadise?
I need to finally tell my story.
Are you a dangerous man?
Plus, finals fever.
Alley-oop to Wembanyama.
As the Knicks and Spurs battle it out on the court, we're with the superstar broadcasters, Shaq, Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie, the Inside the NBA foursome, known for breaking down all the action and keeping it real.
When we say something about a player, it's never personal. We're trying to help them become better players.
Sharing the secrets of their success.
Get him, Kenny. Oh!
And having a blast doing it.
Oh! You set me up, Ernie.
And Serena's return. What brought the tennis legend out of retirement and back to the court? From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, disturbing allegations against a man who says he adores plus-size women, even opening his home to create a community called Pearadise, promising a safe space of support, acceptance, and celebration. But according to legal filings, some former visitors say they were touched inappropriately by someone who behaved more like a predator than a protector. Allegations he denies. You are now entering Pearadise.
Welcome to Pearadise.
A body-positive world of love and affirmation. But some say this oasis, dedicated to larger ladies, may not be all that it seems. What did you expect going in, and what was the reality?
I expected to, I don't know, just have fun with my friends. But I didn't expect to leave feeling like I was violated or feeling uncomfortable or feeling like, wow, did that really just happen?
Allegations of inappropriate touching, even predatory behavior, all a part of a brutal legal battle threatening to tear apart the viral popularity of this community.
I've never really been able to present all the evidence that I have that basically shows that most of the allegations are completely fabricated.
My name's Emily Cass. I'm a photojournalist. I'm based out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and I've been plus size most of my life. I love culture stories. I really like working in odd subcultures. I was scrolling on TikTok one day, and I came across a TikTok where he was holding up a large swimsuit. I click into the profile, and I just see this guy, this kind of dorky looking guy, has like all these plus size women in his home. So I click in there. And I'm just fascinated. I had never seen a world like that.
Emily Cass found Pearadise and its founder, Stephanopoulos, like so many others did, by accident.
And then I'm just a normal guy. You know, that's my tagline on Instagram. I created Pearadise. My ideal type has always been very tall and very big. Like, she would be 6 foot or taller, and she would definitely be 500 plus.
Pearadise is a community in Las Vegas. It's a mansion, it's a home, built by Stephanopoulos, a man who immigrated here from Germany because he loved plus-size women. He's sexually attracted to plus-size women.
I like them round, I like them chunky.
For a year, Emily watched the live streams, joined the Pearadise Discord channel, before reaching out to Villamy in 2021.
I said, I'd like to come there and document. Is this something you'd be open to? He responded instantly. He said, I have a bedroom open right now.
At Pearadise, the girls are finding each other. They're finding a sisterhood that they never had.
Like Emily, Emmy-nominated director Tara Malone says she understood the appeal Pearadise represented.
I've been plus size my whole life, and it's a rare opportunity to be able to tell any story about the plus size community. There was no way I was not going to do this project.
Her new investigation discovery docuseries, Big Girls Wanted, Escaping Pearadise, takes a closer look at the group, the legal battle, and the fallout. Malone's cameras were there for a lot of the classic Pearadise social media content.
You guys ready for a swimsuit check?
Malone came to Pearadise to answer many of the same questions Emily had. The difference? Malone showed up after allegations of defamation and sexual assault.
When allegations come out, they are on TikTok. They are making their case over and over again, sort of relentlessly.
Describe Stefan to me, now that you've gotten to know him as well as you have.
That is a complicated question. Stefan, I would say he is someone who is very committed to the belief that he should be allowed to be attracted to what he's attracted to. I would say he's someone that is living his dream.
Savannah Cisneros, who goes by Savvy, was one of Villamy's accusers.
Before everything happened, I would describe Stefan as a kind man. He accepted everybody with open arms. After everything that happened, I would personally describe him as what I believe as a predator.
Cisneros and a friend went to visit Pearadise for 2 weeks back in 2021 when she was just 19, but she ended up leaving early.
That I told him I don't want him to have any expectations because I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
You didn't want to have expectations of sex?
I didn't want him to expect me to do anything.
Sexually?
Sexual, yeah.
What made you feel violated?
His conduct with me.
And how would you describe that conduct?
Inappropriate sexual conduct.
After leaving, Cisneros posted a video about what happened on social media, accusing Stefan of touching her without consent on her belly and her bottom.
You look at that from the outside, and the first time you take in the information, is that sexual? What is that? I don't know what this is. But then when you start to understand more about fetish and fetishists, that it does become sexual in a way that you would not expect.
Members and former members say it's no secret that sex was part of Pearadise for many, though not everyone.
There were definitely a lot of different relationship dynamics that were inside of the house. Most people were polyamorous.
Villamy has always maintained that what happens at Pearadise is between consenting adults. In a statement to ABC News, Villamy said the group was very tight-knit and familiar with one another, and, quote, "We all participated equally in harmless group activities, such as butt slaps over the top of clothing, and at the time, no one gave any indication of being uncomfortable." Once your allegations went public, what was Stefan's reaction?
Damage control. No apology. Nothing. I've always said, I want a public apology and I want you to admit what you did.
But it wasn't just Cisneros. Others online were accusing Villamy too.
The shock wave that ruffled through the house was really intense to sit in. Stefan is telling people these allegations are false, and the house is just in this kind of chaos.
Kask says while she was there, she heard rumblings of legal action, but it wasn't until after she left that Villamy filed a defamation lawsuit against Cisneros and others. What was your reaction to his lawsuit against you?
At first, we got a cease and desist. I took down all my videos. I'm really scared. And at the time, I was a broke college student. I was 20 when it first started. I believe Stefan was in his 40s.
In his lawsuit, he said that leading up to your visit, there were flirting and sexually charged texts between you and him, and that based on the text messages and conduct leading up to the visit, you had, quote, implied consent, end quote, to Stefan touching you. Your thoughts?
Sorry, that just makes me laugh. Like I said, my text messages would say quite different, where I told him I don't want him to have any expectations. I admit that there were flirty messages, there were sexual things said, but after I started to realize that it was kind of weird, I kind of took a step back.
In his lawsuit, Villamy says the allegations are false and defamatory. He also says that nothing he was accused of qualify as sexual assault under Nevada law, which requires some form of penetration.
It's hard. He doesn't deny the acts. He's very open about, yes, I touched Savvy, but to him, you can't call it sexual assault. And for Stefan, he wants to make his case. He wants to present his evidence.
In Stefan's lawsuit, he also said that you never accused him of non-consensual touching or sexual assault while you were visiting his home, and that you continued to stay with him even after incidents.
I didn't want to upset the herd. He said, if I ever make you uncomfortable, just let me know. I told him, he kept, like, every time he would talk to me, he would get like really close to my face. And I would just back up, and I eventually ended up telling him I was uncomfortable.
Ultimately, Cisneros and the others filed what's called an anti-SLAPP motion, which basically argues that their allegations are protected under the First Amendment, and their statements are in the public's best interest to know.
He is a public figure. I believe he preys on women like me, and I didn't want anything to happen to anybody else.
Ultimately, in 2022, a judge dismissed Wilhelmie's defamation case, saying that while the accusations would not qualify as criminal sexual assault under Nevada law, the women in the lawsuit believed that what they were saying was true and called it sexual assault based on the public's general understanding of the phrase. What was your reaction when the lawsuit was dismissed?
Well, happiness, probably one of the best days of my life other than getting married.
In a statement to ABC News, Wilhelmie acknowledged that the anti-SLAPP law makes it extremely difficult for a public figure to defend themselves, and that the term sexual assault, for 99% of the audience, it will be interpreted equal to rape. He added, the judge did note that actual sexual assault, as defined by the law, did not take place, and any complaint brought against me based on known evidence would certainly be dismissed. He adds that not a single person was ever coerced to be there. No one has been exploited. How do you think people are going to react to the doc?
I hope that it starts conversations about how we treat each other, about empathy, about what we should be able to say to women about their bodies.
Pearadise is still up and running, online and at Wilhelmie's home in Vegas.
Stefan refers to his friendships and girls in his house as seasons. I believe we're on season 8 right now, so the characters and the casts change.
Are you glad that a place like Pearadise exists?
I need a minute with this. People who are plus size need community. People of all marginalized bodies need community. There are a lot of purposes that Pearadise serves, and some of that lives in the sun and some of that lives in the shadows.
Big Girls Wanted: Escaping Pearadise premieres tomorrow on Investigation Discovery and will be available to stream on HBO Max. And now a look ahead at tomorrow's show, a modern take on creating family, seeking out a partner not for romance, but for parenthood.
Sometimes when you meet a friend and you just kind of have like a values click, now we have a family together.
Why some people say it's a perfect match. And when we come back, as the fervor and frenzy ramp up for the NBA Finals, we're with the Superstar broadcast team, breaking down the action and having a raucous good time doing so.
If you want to talk about basketball, this guy, that guy, myself, we got good opinions, but we want you to have fun.
Welcome back. You know, we're in the middle of NBA Finals fever of epic proportions, and we're riding that wave with 4 of the ultimate experts who made Inside the NBA informative and hilarious. They all sat down with ABC's Will Reeve.
My name's Ernie Johnson, but they call me EJ. I host a little show called Inside the NBA.
For 37 years,
Oh, hit me in the head.
Inside the NBA has been the destination for all things basketball.
You have to go through people in the playoffs.
And so much more. Since 2011, the largely unscripted hosts, Shaq, EJ, Kenny, and Chuck, have propelled the show to new heights. And now, in partnership with TNT Sports, are part of the Disney family.
We're still in Atlanta Studio J, but now we're on ESPN. Welcome.
And what better time to catch up with the gang
Come on in, Chuck. Good to see you. Chuck, how are you?
than during their first NBA Finals.
Don't make me knock you out on Good Morning America.
This isn't Inside the NBA, we're just on your set.
We're lucky this is not Good Night America.
What has kept the show going so strong, so beloved through all the iterations?
Well, I'm going to answer first because I'm the youngest here. But Ernie is the godfather, the principal, the father. You know, I tell him all the time I'm happy to be sitting here next to him, but I love him. This is the greatest show, in my opinion, because of this gentleman right here. We have reached a perfect balance of, if you want to talk about basketball, This guy, that guy, myself, we got good opinions, but we want you to have fun. Because let's be honest, it's just stupid basketball. We ain't saving the world.
In a basketball analogy, everybody has a role to play on the team. My job is a point guard and facilitate and make
You're
things
the best
happen.
shooter. Go ahead and say it.
And then Ernie's our coach. He's the coach.
He calls me the coach or the point guard. Somebody told me once, I'm the dad driving cross country with these three guys in the back seat, and I'm turning around saying, one more peep out of you, and I'm turning this thing around. And it does feel like that sometimes.
Never turned it around.
As the captain of the ship, Ernie Johnson is always well-researched and prepared for every show.
Ernie is the hardest working guy on the show. I made the mistake of tearing up his notes one time. Kenny dared me. I didn't realize.
Don't even bring that up. It still hurts.
I didn't realize how important.
I thought he wouldn't do it, and he actually did it.
When Ernie's writing his paper, leave him alone. Because when I first got here, he was writing. I was like, Ernie, what are you writing now?
Look, we have a production meeting, but these three guys are not invited because we do not want them to know what's going on.
And with a panel that includes 2 Hall of Famers, they never hold back. They always call it like they see it.
You cannot be an all-star and not score in the first game of the playoffs at home. During the game, I said you were playing soft because I've seen you at times when you play great.
All of you, in your own way, especially the 3 ex-players here, you have an authority. You can say things to them that other folks wouldn't.
When we say something about a player, it's never personal. It's the same criticism we all got. I think they can understand that. Like Chuck said, we're trying to help them become better players.
But basketball is only a fraction of what the viewers tune in for. And we wanted to share some of our favorite moments.
What happened here?
I lost a bet to Kenny on Yao Ming.
That's right here on national TV.
What happened here?
Ernie set me up and put the wires and the printer next to my foot.
And this is obvious.
Get him, Kenny. You set me up, Ernie.
What do you mean, me?
Funniest thing about that moment is Ernie had a look of concern on my face, but as soon as he saw I was okay, I've never seen Ernie laugh so hard.
And
he was like, hey, man.
After 10 years, I'll admit, I tripped him.
Iconic moments, all of those, and many more that we can't even get to. We're so glad to have you in the Disney, ABC, ESPN families.
What pros? Our thanks to Will. Be sure to watch Game 4 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night right here on ABC. And when we come back, the Queen of the Court returns. What brought Serena Williams out of retirement? And could this be the first step of a full comeback to tennis?
It still was so amazing.
Finally, Serena Williams back on the tennis court. It's tonight's Nightline. Big cheers for Serena Williams hitting the doubles court at the HSBC Championship in London. The tennis legend, who's won 23 Grand Slam singles titles coming out of her nearly 4-year retirement for the match, which she and 19-year-old partner Victoria Mboko won. But Williams saying earlier this week, it's not about another trophy.
I don't need to win. I've won more than most people have in their whole lives. So for me, it's that is not important to me. And it's important that I keep reminding myself of that.
It's a match made in heaven. That's Nightline. You can watch all of our full episodes on Disney Plus and Hulu. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America.